ये वापस चप्पल बोल रहा है यार। अभी मेरे पीछे झूठ लगाएंगे। अगर बाहर में लगा बाहर से क्या मारने चलते। अरे मैं डाउट ढूंढ रहा हूँ। मैंने भी 4-5 सुना। क्या? मेरे लिए तो पार्टी का दे दिया है। अभी मेरे को कब से भी नहीं आएगी मैंने किया अगर मैं किससे भी नहीं बता चला बहुत कर उससे
अजीती something नंबर अब मैंने करा तो होगी 16 मुझे खुद नहीं बनना है
फिर भी मेरे को उसका भी वाले नहीं आएगा What happened? क्या बताऊं? अरे अभी थोड़ा सा वो बाल थोड़ा बाल जाएगा ना अभी मैम का नाम बोल रहा है अच्छा लगा जरा खुले रखो भैया ओपन ही रहेगी ओपन ही रहेगी
So now, what is it? Okay, let us do some questions. Take out your notebooks. We have completed with give me a volume. Let's solve some questions. Class, quiet. There's a lot of noise.
Ma'am, what happens when a spirogenic filament matures and attain the
पढ़ना नहीं आता और tell me. Okay, so much to talk. Wait, just a minute. You start with your work first. Otherwise, they'll keep on talking and waste all the time. Okay. I don't have any. Now take this question, page 217. Page 217. Take some of these questions that you'll have to complete now. Question number 10, 217. There. Pen? Why? तो एक ही पेन लेके तुम घर से निकलते हो क्या? Unbelievable. Number 10, 217, page 217. Take the questions. Number 10 and up there, number 7. Number 7, number 10. Go to the next page, 218. Number 20. Number 20. 25. 25. 27. 27. 28, B and C. 28, B and C. And number 33. 28, B and C. B and C. Sub questions. 33. 33. Complete these answers. I'll give you just 10 minutes. The answers are not. One or two answers I will give you. That is question number. Number 20, I'll give you. Question number 10, I will give you. Complete number 7, after that 10 and 20, I will give you. Yes. Move this side. Parain, come here. What is your question? You were asking something. You were asking something. No noise absolutely in the class. Why are you all coming here? Oh. Dutch and will not talk. One book and 3 of it. एक ही घंटा है उसमें भी you all are wasting so much of time. Girls. Rhizopus. What is rhizopus? Rhizopus is a fungus. Remember we had studied spore formation. So what is how does this process of spore formation happen? The entire filament will start growing first, and then in one particular cell the nuclear division becomes multiple times, and as a result what happens to that fungus? That fungus will result in the formation of a knot-like structure, something this way. Large number of spores are now formed here by multiple nuclear divisions. What is the confusion?
20 wasn't.
What is that 20 question? So I told you, number 10 and number 20, I will give you the answer. Number 7 karo. Wait. Then next is, what will happen now? Enough number of spores by multiple nuclear division. This will now burst and all the spores will be released free. Conditions are favorable, they will again grow into new generation organisms. If conditions are unfavorable, they will remain protected by the cyst coat until conditions are favorable. What is this method we are talking about? Spore formation. What type of organisms show this method? Fungus. What is rhizopus? It's a type of a fungus. Okay. Done? Complete karo now. Number 7. What is the answer? Number 7. All of you now look into those questions and keep writing. What are those? What is the question? Regeneration. 2 organisms that show regeneration. One is planaria. Lizards. Simple organisms that show regeneration. No, simple organisms that show regeneration will be planaria and starfishes. Simple organisms. Hydra budding. Hydra is not regeneration. Hydra is given as an example. Okay, then you can write. Sponge is also regeneration. Yes. Earthworm regeneration, very, very rarely, not much. Sponges you can write, starfishes you can write, planaria you can write, hydra occasionally, but hydra if it is mentioned in your book, then you can write. This one, he will not talk. 1 घंटा सिर्फ पढ़ने का हैबिट करो. Whom are you telling? Whom are you telling this? एक भी बात नहीं करोगे, you have a doubt, you'll open your mouth. Otherwise, you'll not open your mouth. Number 10, write down that question now. What is number 10? Write down question number 10. What is question number 10? I asked you to write. Number 10 is, how is the number of chromosomes in the progeny of sexually reproducing organism established? Write down the answer. How is the chromosome number in sexually reproducing organisms established? What was the last topic you finished? Continue. Write down that answer there. How is the number of chromosomes in the progeny of sexually reproducing organisms re-established? Now, what is it? Already the basic concept of gametes and all these concepts I had explained you the other day. Do you remember how many male gametes from one cell of the testis, how many female gametes from one cell of the ovary? What is the reason the female gamete is comparatively bigger? What is the reason that the male gametes need to be motile? All these features you know now. Do you remember the number of chromosome in all the male gametes? Is it the same? Yes. The number of gametes in the number of chromosome in the male gametes exactly the same, 23. What about the number of chromosome in the female gametes? 23. Then what is the difference in case of the female gamete? Only one cell will have the maximum amount of cytoplasm, and that cell is known as ovum. The rest three are known as polar bodies. We now try to understand in this question that how in case of human the chromosome number is restored. How in the case of human chromosome number is restored, that part already we had studied the other day. Chromosome number will be restored only by one process known as fertilization. What is the meaning of restoring? Restoring means the body cells which is having 46 chromosomes. So gametes may the number of chromosomes become just the half, 23. Then how will the 46 number be regained back? The process of fertilization will only help in regaining back 46 chromosomes. So that is the answer that you have to write. Write down. The male and the female gametes, consists of 23 chromosomes. The male and the female gametes consists of 23 chromosomes. Full stop. By the process of fertilization, that is fusion of the male and female gamete. Results in formation of a single cell zygote. Cell, C-E-L-L-E-D. Formation of a single cell zygote. Which consists of 46 chromosomes. Right, which consists of 46 chromosomes. The zygote undergoes the process of division. Zygote undergoes the process of division and growth. Zygote undergoes the process of division and growth and results in the formation of an embryo which consists of cells consisting of 46 chromosomes. Cells consisting of 46 chromosomes. Go to the next question, number 20. 46 chromosomes. Zygote में कैसे 23? Consisting of 46 chromosomes. Go to the next question, number 20. Question number 20. Question number 20. What is it? Last line. Last line. Formation of the embryo where each cell consists of 46 chromosomes. Consists of 46 chromosomes. Next, what is puberty? Mention any two changes that are common to both girls and boys in early teenage years. Now, when we are talking about puberty, now with reference to puberty, yes. So this is what you have to remember. I think I had talked about this when we are talking about that the reproductive organs. Now that the process of formation of the reproductive organs in the male and the female. So every single male is born with a reproductive organ. Every single female is born with a reproductive organ. But by the time the male and the female is roughly around 9 to 10 years, 12 years, the reproductive organs remain immature. So by the time a female individual is, nothing to talk except for a doubt to ask. Nothing you will talk. Now when we are talking about the girl at the age of 10 to 12 years, a boy at the age of 11 to 13 years starts the process of development, maturation of the reproductive organ. Now at this particular period of time, the process of adolescence is supposed to have started. So what is adolescence? When we are talking about adolescence is a period of growth. What is adolescence? It is a period of growth. So now when I talk about that this particular period of growth, adolescence, what will this be? Adolescence would generally be considered as a stage of growth and starting when it is starting. If I talk about the boys, roughly around 11 to 13 years. If I talk about the girls, roughly around 10 to 12 years, and finishing up something by 18 to 19 years or 20 years, and this particular period that we are talking about is all adolescence. So during this period, what is happening? New hormones start developing, the reproductive organs start getting matured, all the parts and the functions of the cells are getting formed. But by the time, now that the process of development has happened, so by the time I understand that roughly around 13 to 15 years, now this is a particular period of time, both in the male and the female body, 1 or 2 years, little bit less and more is generally normal. But this is the standard time period, the years generally considered. This is a particular period known as puberty. Then what is the special feature about this particular period is, now at this period, the body has started producing gametes. So now the gametes are absolutely functional. Now the gametes are not functional. So during this period, the gametes are still in the process of formation, still not functional. And this side, the gametes are fully functional. At this particular period of time, now the gametes are getting formed. It is not that the cell of the testis divides, meiosis, and at the first time only all the gametes are functional. So it takes a particular period of time, few cycles of division will happen. and roughly in a period of few months to a year, the gametes are now functional and the individual is reproductively active. So this is puberty. How do we define this? It is a stage of growth in which the functional gametes have started forming. Then how do we define adolescence? It is a period of growth when the reproductive organ starts developing, maturing, new hormones start getting formed, and sexually characteristics are getting developed. Secondary sexually characters start developing. What are some of the major features to understand when we are talking about secondary sexual characters? I would say in case of the male, the development of the Adam's apple, the development of the beard, the development of the mustache, and the heavy voice, and the widening up of the shoulder, and then the narrowing down of the hip. All these are basic characteristics that we understand. In case of the females, we talk about the widening up of the hip region and the body starts developing curvature structure. And on top of that, the shrill voice, the high-pitched voice, the mammary gland. So all these are known as secondary sexual characters. We'll write this answer. What is puberty? So the question starts this way. What is puberty? Let us try writing. What is puberty? And two changes to write. Let us write this. What is puberty? The stage of development of the human body. The stage of development of the human body when the stage of development of the human body when reproductive cells or gametes have started developing. Reproductive cells or gametes have started developing and the body attains reproductive maturity. The body attains reproductive maturity is known as puberty. Next paragraph. The body changes that are remarkable during the period of adolescence. The body changes that are remarkable during the period of adolescence are known as secondary sexual adolescents are known as secondary sexual characteristics. Secondary sexual characteristics. Right. Secondary sexual characteristics. Full stop. In males, we'll just write 3 each. In males, it involves number 1. In males, next paragraph. In males, it involves number 1, the development of beard and mustache. Development of beard and mustache. Here we are.
Mango, developing spelling will start.
Right. Development of beard and mustache. Number 2, widening up or broadening up of shoulder. Broadening up of shoulder and chest region. Narrowing of the hip. Narrowing of the hip. Number 3, development of Adam's apple, capital A. Development of Adam's apple. And a heavy voice. Development of Adam's apple and a heavy voice. Low pitch, heavy voice, that is called. Come to females. Changes in females are number 1. Changes in females are number 1. Widening up of the hip region. Widening up of the hip region. Number 2, development of high pitch voice. Number 3, development of mammary glands. Development of mammary glands. And scanty hair growth on the body. Scanty. S-C-A-N-T-Y. Scanty hair growth on the body. So these are few that you should remember. Now go to question number 25. Very fast. Do it. I'm going to continue with the chapter. 25. Achha, then you write down the next paragraph. So these are the basic characteristics. Changes in the body. I'm sorry, I missed that word common. Now the common changes are what? Like, write down. The common changes include number 1. Common changes include number 1. During this puberty. Common changes number 1. Formation of functional gametes. Formation of functional gametes. Number 2. What is common? Formation of the sperm and the ovum. Functional gametes. Number 2. Secretion of the male. Secretion of the male and female sex hormones. Secretion of male and female sex hormones. And development of secondary sexual characteristics. And development of secondary sexual characteristics. Okay, look into this question. What is puberty? You are writing. What are some common changes? These are the common changes. What are the major secondary characters? That is the first part that I gave you. The characteristics in male and the characteristics in female. But what is also here is common changes are what? Gametes are formed, hormones are formed, and secondary sexual characteristics are developed. This is common. And when secondary characteristics are asked, we'll have to write down this. Now, very fast, go to number 25. Done? Already done? 25. 27 now. 27, check. Especially 27A, let us read. Why is regeneration not same as reproduction? Now, this is a separate question you get for 3 marks. Let us take that question. Why is regeneration? Just write that question. Why is regeneration not same as reproduction? 27A. Why is regeneration not same as reproduction? Huh? You have done that? Aisha? Read out what?
Regeneration is a method of regaining the lost body parts in times of accident and war predation. the process of reproduction, the organism gives rise to new generation offspring in the process of division and growth. And we also learned the B part as
Achha. Why is regeneration not same as reproduction? We have not mentioned anything about reproduction there in that answer.
reproduction. In the process of reproduction, the organism gives rise to a new generation offspring in a definite process of division and growth. In the process of reproduction, the organism gives rise to a new generation offspring in a definite process of division.
A definite process of division and growth. Okay. Then number B, list any two advantages of producing plants by vegetative reproduction. That is, I think you should be able to answer. That also done. Okay, good. That also done. C also done. 28, B done. Not done. Let us answer these two. 28, B and C. Does a male child inherit the X chromosome from his father? Sex determination we had done, no?
It inherits both.
Sex determination we haven't done in the heredity we haven't done yet. Okay. You haven't studied this. Okay. Now 28B. How does the write this? Then I'll give you that flowchart also here. Then does a male child inherit the X chromosome from the father? Write the answer first, then I'll give you the flowchart. Right? The male child inherits the X chromosome from the mother. The male child inherits the X chromosome from the mother. Full stop. That's the first answer. That's the first part of the question. Go to the next paragraph. When a X carrying sperm, X carrying sperm sperms are of two types. Already that is explained. Now that you know now. There are two types of sperms, X carrying and Y carrying. Right? Now the first part you write, when an X carrying sperm fertilizes the ovum. This produces a female offspring. Full stop. When a Y carrying sperm fertilizes an ovum, a male offspring is formed. Now you will write down this flowchart against that answer. After you write down the concept of sex determination, together I am giving you the same that you should include for these type of answers. I told you nobody is talking. What is this concept of sex determination that you write? What does this refer to? This refers to the cell of a testis. What does this A refer to? A refers to autosomes. Do you remember the two types of chromosomes? The two types of chromosomes are autosomes and sex chromosomes. The two types of chromosomes always would be autosomes and sex chromosomes. And now how many autosomes? 44, meaning 22 pairs. So 44. Allosome, that is sex chromosome, how many pairs? Only one, that is 2. So that's why we are writing here 2. Same here, autosomes and XX, because we are talking about a cell of the ovary. How many autosomes? 22 pairs, that is 44. And how many allosome? 1 pair, meaning 2. Now this cell, when it undergoes the process of gamete formation, meiosis, what will happen? The number of chromosome becomes half. But since we are talking about a cell of the testes, it should be of two types. Half carrying X and half carrying Y. Now I write A plus X. Why not AA? Because a pair of chromosomes are all split now. It is single chromosome now, not pair. So now A plus X, A plus Y. And how many? 22 plus 1 and 22 plus 1. So total number of gametes, total number of chromosomes in the gametes is 23. Same this side. But then the difference here is it is A plus X and A plus X. So what is happening? A plus X and A plus X, meaning what? The type of gametes are exactly the same type. And the number of chromosomes here also 23, here also 23. We are talking about the female gametes here. Now the answer that we have written is when an X carrying gamete, sperm, fertilizes with the ovum, then what? A female offspring. When a Y carrying sperm fertilizes the ovum, because ovum is all of the same type, when a Y carrying gamete fertilizes with the ovum, then what do we get? We get a male offspring. Male offspring you are supposed to write. Complete this. Done. Who is calling down? That's it. All of you are done. Yes. Come to the next one now. 28 over. Now the last one is 33. How do organisms, whether reproduce asexually or sexually, maintain a constant number of chromosomes through several generations? Explain with the help of suitable example. Now what is the answer? What is the concept that you are going to write? Tell me. Read that question. Number 33. Read that question. What are you supposed to write? Read that question. How do organisms, whether reproducing sexually or asexually, maintain a constant number of chromosomes through several generations? What are you supposed to write there? Through DNA copying and the process of cell division, that is gamete formation, and again we talk about no, asexually also. Then only the process of DNA copying will have to write. Let us frame that answer there. Number 33. Write on the answer. If it is sexually reproducing, then we'll have to write gametes and the concept of gametes. How do organisms, whether reproducing asexually or sexually, maintain a constant number of chromosomes? Right. Question number 33, page 219. For this, you'll have to write organisms reproducing asexually produce offsprings that are identical and a constant chromosome number is obtained because of a process known as chromosome duplication or DNA copying. Chromosome duplication or DNA copying that takes place during reproduction. Full stop. Next paragraph. In sexually reproducing organisms, DNA copying takes place during the division of the zygote to form the embryo. Full stop. The embryo further divides to form write down these words, we are going to learn now this. The embryo further divides to form the fetus, F-O-E-T-U-S. Embryo further divides to form the fetus, comma, every cell of the body contains the same 46 chromosome. Now, the last day, now let us proceed with this part. The last day we had already come across this concept that what are some of the stages? The stages would be that now that an ovum is formed, the ovum is now released from the ovary. What is this process known as? We had already come across that this particular process of developing of the ovum and the release of the ovum from the ovary. What is the process of release of the ovum from the ovary known as ovulation? What is this? डाउट है अच्छा तुम्हारा डाउट परीन सॉल्व कर रहा है सारा डाउट सो डाउट है तो अच्छी तरह से पूछो ना व्हाई यू हैव टू आस्क दैट वे Now, when we are talking about this particular process, what is the name of this process? We had already understood that the ovary is releasing the ovum. So, what was this process? Already we had come across. This particular process is known as ovulation. Did we write down the definition? What is ovulation? What is ovulation? The release of the ovum from the ovary. And now that the ovum is in the fallopian tube, what is one particular function of the fallopian tube also that we have studied? It is a site for fertilization. Where does the process of fertilization in the human body take place? Always to remember, it is the oviduct. What is the other word for oviduct? Fallopian tube. So now we are understanding that if this is the ovum and now that the ovum little bit more matures and ready for the process of fertilization, and now at this stage the sperm one major characteristic is motile it is, and this sperm now undergoes the process of attachment with the female gamete. What is this particular process known as? This particular process is known as fertilization. And the definition of this word is the fusion of one male gamete with one female gamete to form the zygote. So what are we getting now? After this process, we get a single cell zygote. What is the feature of this zygote? This particular zygote will always have 46 chromosomes, but it is a single cell. Then this particular zygote, how will it behave? It will immediately enter into a process of cell division. 2 cells and then 4 cells and then 8 cells, and every time the number of cells becoming just the double. So which type of process we are understanding? What is the process of cell division happening? The process of cell division happening is mitosis. And what would be this particular structure now known as? This particular structure is now known as the embryo. Did we write down the definition between the difference between zygote and embryo the other day? What is a zygote and what is an embryo? Zygote is a single cell, embryo is a multicellular structure, and every cell of the embryo has how many chromosomes? Zygote and embryo we will not features and embryo. Zygote and embryo we will not write. Okay, we'll write that also. The zygote and embryo, right? First before I forget. Zygote and embryo, you are asked these differences also. What is the difference between zygote and embryo? Write in the form of a question, no need of a paragraph. What is the difference between zygote and embryo, right? Zygote is a single cell formed by the division of, formed by the process of, zygote is a single cell formed by the process of fertilization. Zygote is a single cell formed by the process of fertilization and consists of 46 chromosomes Embryo, next line, embryo, write it. Embryo is a multicellular structure. Embryo is a multicellular structure formed by the process of cell division, and every cell has 46 chromosomes. So now that we talk about this embryo, what is happening? This particular embryo has already been undergoing certain cycles of cell division, right from the zygote till the embryonic stage. Almost about 3-4 cycles of cell division already over. Now, when I talk about this particular embryo, by the time this embryo is almost about 8 to 16 cell stages. Till the time it is 8 cells and 16 cells, generally not a problem because it has got the reserve food. The food which was there in the ovum, the food which is now there in the zygote, adequate to carry out the process of cell division. But how many cycles? At the most 4-5 cycles of cell division. So now that the embryo is having almost about 8 to 16 cells, this embryo is running out of nourishment, reserve food. So what will happen to this embryo now? This embryo starts getting attached to the uterine wall. And what is this process now known as? This process is now known as implantation. How did we define the word implantation? These are important definitions. What is implantation? The attachment or the embedding of the developing embryo into the uterine wall. That is known as implantation. But what is the objective of implantation? To obtain nourishment, receive nourishment from the maternal body, to receive nourishment from the maternal body. But in a short period of time, what also happens is the connection of the maternal body and the uterine wall starts becoming even more profuse, and also at that time the entire uterine wall is actually becoming much thicker with a large number of blood vessels getting formed. The uterine wall is now developing more and more in the cellular layers. So I can put it this way, that by the time these processes are happening, rather by the time ovulation and all this has happened, the entire wall of the uterus, which has become quite thicker than before. Thicker than before meaning the layers of the cells and the blood vessels, everything has increased. So now implantation can very successfully happen. But within a short period of time, what will also happen is that this entire embryo, it will not only be a ball of cells, but it will also start formation of certain group of tissues like this, and result in the formation of some finger-like projections. And these finger-like projections that we are talking about, results in the formation of a structure known as the placenta. So now that we are looking into that, what next would be happening, what next is we come across that these particular type of structures now getting formed, and inside a whole lot of changes take place. So I would say that right now, after a particular period of time, what will be the changes inside? The changes inside would be some tissues developing and a fetus is getting formed. Then what is the definition of the word fetus and what extra is happening? A fetus is getting formed, meaning it is not only just a group of cells right now, but the body parts have started forming, and here there are a whole lot of blood vessels. So what is this particular stage now known as? Right now, this particular stage is known as placentation. So what is the next phase that we are talking about? The next phase is when this type of a structure is formed, where the entire embryo starts developing some finger-like projections. So now that we are talking about this finger-like projection, but for what? To getting attached with the blood vessels of the maternal body, and inside a fetus is getting formed. So what will I name this particular structure? A developing fetus. So what is the definition of this word fetus? When I say what is the definition of this word? A structure along with the process of placentation, a fetus is getting formed. And how do we define this word fetus? It is a embryo, developing embryo, where the body parts have started forming. Body parts started forming, meaning just in about 4 weeks time, the heart starts getting formed first, then the limb starts getting formed, then the eyes start getting formed. So progressively, week by week, what is happening? The body tissues are getting formed, and it is no more just a process of cell division going on. So now that I talk about a transition from this phase to this phase, cells are increasing also, but certain cells will stop the process of division and start the process of maturation here. So is it only this process going on? No. The cells are very much increasing, but certain cells will now take certain other shapes and get converted into tissues. So here I would say, is it only cell division like before? No, it is a process of cell division and cell maturation. So cell division and cell maturation, both the processes go parallelly, and this is what is responsible in the formation of the fetus. Now, at this stage, what is this process known as when it has already made enough finger-like projections to make connection with the uterine wall? This is known as placentation. So now, whenever we are talking about the basic structure, say suppose I talk about the developing fetus, and this developing fetus, what will it have? It will have a cord of tissues, and these cord of tissues, this is known as the umbilical cord. This is known as the umbilical cord. and surrounding this there will be a whole lot of some finger-like projections, and this finger-like projections will always form a network with the blood vessels of the maternal body. What am I drawing here? We are talking about a disc-like structure that gets formed, and what is this entire disc-like structure known as? This is known as a placenta. So what is the placenta made up of? Some finger-like projections which come from the fetus and a whole lot of blood vessels from the maternal body. So I will write here maternal blood vessels. So what is this entire disc-like structure that is formed? What is this entire disc-like structure that is formed? This is what is known as the placenta. You are asked to write down functions of the placenta. What are the prominent functions of the placenta? Here I would say that now this developing fetus, does it have any organs to receive nourishment from the external environment? No. It has to receive all the nutrients and the oxygen from the maternal body. So can we say that this placenta provides nourishment to the developing fetus? Yes. What about the next function? Then nobody will put down the book. Just look at them. The school habits will never change. Now, when we are talking about the second function, what is the first function I mentioned? The first function we are going to write down now, the tissues involved and the functions. So what are the tissues involved? The tissues involved, first of all, you will write the tissues involved here are the fetal villi. What is the placenta made up of? It is made up of the fetal villi. All of you will write this down. The placenta is made up of the fetal villi and maternal blood vessels. The fetal villi and the maternal blood vessels. So this is the tissues involved. Whenever you are asked, name the tissues involved in the formation of the placenta. These are the tissues involved in the formation of the placenta. But functions are what? Number one. What are the functions? 3 functions you are asked, as it is for 3 marks in your paper. What are the 3 functions? Let us write down. We'll complete with this. The 3 functions of the placenta. Number 1. Provides nourishment or obtains, receives nourishment from the maternal blood. That's the job of the placenta. Receives nourishment from the maternal blood. Write down the first point. So what is the first point I'm talking about? It will always receive nourishment from the maternal blood. What about the second point? The second point is it receives oxygen from the maternal blood and gives away the carbon dioxide to the maternal blood. So I would write this placenta very much acts as a embryonic respiratory organ. What is it? It acts as an embryonic respiratory organ. Why? Because it is this placenta which allows the fetus to get oxygen and gives carbon dioxide away to the maternal blood. The third point is, it is by the way of placenta only that the fetus gets rid of all the waste substances. So the third point is, yes, you will stay back another 10 minutes. Tell me what I taught you, and then you will go back home. Yes. It acts as a embryonic excretory organ. All of you will note down this point. It acts as a embryonic excretory organ. Why did I mention this? Because the fetus does not have any kidneys or any other well-developed structures to release the waste. It will throw the waste into the maternal body by the process of diffusion by the way of placenta. So embryonic excretory organ. And apart from this, the fourth point is it also helps in the release of progesterone. It is the placenta which is also responsible for the secretion of progesterone for a short period of time, and this is what is responsible for maintenance of pregnancy. Maintenance of pregnancy. I'll just finish with the last point here. What is this? Now that the process of placentation is over and the entire period of growth, what is the entire period of growth in case of the human? You'll have to take a note. it is about 40 weeks, or it is about 9 months, roughly 9 months. After this entire period, what will happen? The fetus will start getting detached from the maternal body and the process of childbirth. But for that particular process, there is one particular hormone responsible for uterine contraction. Which is that? Get studied, no, that one? Control coordination over? Control coordination over, no, then? Which is that hormone which will help in the process of uterine contraction and the process of childbirth? What is it? No, estrogen is for maintenance of pregnancy, the entire process of growth, progesterone. So uterine contraction, which will be this particular hormone, this is brought about by oxytocin. Do you remember that? The hormone oxytocin will bring about the process of uterine contraction, and we talk about childbirth. So this is one process that already we had come across. What happens to the ovum when it gets fertilized? The next class we will learn what happens to the ovum when it does not get fertilized. Who said that? किसने बोला ये? हाँ, you took your moment.
अभी इससे पास आ रहे हैं अभी चलिए ठीक है
नहीं ना चल
And